Welcome back, my friends.
Back in 2021, when I first stumbled upon Squid Game,
Say, yo, Squid Game, from the Squid Game.
I remember being intrigued by the story and the message, but what really struck me most, and has stuck with me since then, was the insane production design. I was mesmerized by the shapes and colors, so seldom seen face on, and even though this design choice is so bold, it seems to heighten the message of the story and the dynamic characters within it. If we take out all the violence and death, and only look at the production design, the visuals still work to unsettle us. Similar to how seeing the backrooms for the first time made me feel, it creeped me out. Not because it was overtly scary in any way.
Hey guys.
It's just a hallway. But it takes a distant memory, wonders from our childhood, and thoughts we've somehow held in fondness and warmth, and turns it into an uncanny, distorted clone that is both familiar yet so strange. So let's break down Squid Game's production design and how it's used to elevate this show. Disclaimer, spoilers ahead, because we'll be discussing the visuals of many crucial scenes, and by now if you haven't seen this show already, just go watch it.
Oh my
Alright, now let's get started. The Playgrounds, a liminal nightmare. Here are photos of some real Korean playgrounds, and here are Squid Game's playgrounds. The painted blue skies, artificial lighting, and play structures too big to play on all reside within this enclosed box. Fond memories of our past are turned on its head, becoming a nightmare as our brains tries its hardest to comprehend what it's seeing and to feel at ease, but can't because of the things that are just off about it. From the get-go, we are shown a giant kid-friendly doll. Weird, but nothing overtly dangerous until its eyes start moving in the most robotic, unnatural way. The window into its soul breaks, and dread fills our senses. Nothing in these playgrounds are meant for its original purpose, plunging us into the uncanny valley of places and memories. In Dalgona, the play structures are too big and never meant to be played on. In Tug of War, the crane-like structures remind us of plastic construction toys, super smooth, super simplistic, and harmless to play with. And of course, the sunset fake town of the marble game reminds people of the homes and the community that they lived in, connecting with our vulnerability.
형 어디 있어? 형! 상우 형! 형!
Making the extremely intimate but heart-wrenching deaths that much more serious.
고마워.
Not to mention in Season 2, where we have a literal schoolyard. The juxtaposition of the bright and cheerful imitations of familiar places with the fact that it's the last thing that most of these players will see shakes us to the bone. The show's production designer Chae Kyung-san stated in an interview that she wanted to divert from the stereotypical visuals of the survival game genre and bring to life something like a fairy tale, a uniquely Korean fantasy. And a fantasy it is, but instead of enhancing our reality with magic and beauty, she used our reality to instill fear. The larger-than-life sets dwarf the players, making them seem tiny, even with hundreds of people in the same room. It's as if the game makers themselves and the VIPs find it fun to make these contestants seem naive and childlike, infantilizing them through the sheer size of these games, purposefully accessing their deepest memories of childhood and turning that once beautiful part of their psyche into a nightmare. And the design of the games help in detaching the players from their own humanity, so that they are more easily objectified. Now, to arrive at these game spaces, the players had to be transported through these intricately designed corridors. This leads to a discussion about the design of power, the other side of the games. These corridors act as a central hub It contains the main routes to all parts of the games, as well as the control centers where Frontman and the workers work and live. The design of this corridor is heavily inspired by MC Escher's famous graphics. Known for his mind-bending geometry and often impossible but fascinating and imaginative structures, MC Escher's fantastical visual language found its way into the winding pastel labyrinths of the show. But why was his work chosen? Well, in order to divert from the conventional visuals of this genre, we'll have to see what some of the conventions are so that we can break them. Whereas films and shows like Battle Royale, Hunger Games, and Alice in Borderland show us games and spaces that are either unruly and wild, or dark, desaturated, and devoid of life. And possibly because of this, Chie chose elements that are complete opposites to visualize the games. She chose something that is obviously designed, overtly artificial and geometric, and unnatural to the point that it almost breaks the conventions of physics into the realm of illusions. Using Escher's mind-bending works as inspiration, Chie is able to put the show's characters and us, the audience, in a completely new territory. In this strange, uncanny space, we have no idea what to expect, which is different from the tropes that we've come to know in this genre. In here, everything could be dangerous, yet at the same time, nothing could be dangerous. This ambiguity creeps us out as we await for what the next games have in store for us. And naturally, as deaths keep happening, this place of ambiguity becomes an artificial hellscape. Yet, we can't take our eyes off of this megastructure simply because of its weird beauty. Its simplicity in colors and shapes, and its unique attractiveness fascinates us. Even as a gunfight breaks out in this space, the walls never seem to really crack and break off, as if the filmmakers intentionally wanted to maintain the structure of this place and its unnatural effect. Not even hundreds of bullets can really show us what this place is really made up of. The control room exudes a sense of order. There, the frontman is able to watch over the games and its workers. This is one of the only places in the games where we see black. The combination with colored blocks and machines and costumes reflect the frontman's reach and influence in every aspect of the games. The workers' living quarters are painted with large monotonous blocks of color to create feelings of claustrophobia, homogeneity, and to strip the individualities of each worker so that they become disposable and forgettable. But of course, the design of these workers is anything but forgettable. The worker visual is arguably the most iconic visual from the game, and with good reason too. With the bright pink jumpsuits, faceless black masks, and easy to identify shapes. Their simplicity is also something that actively works against them. As their characters are further explored in Season 2, we see more of how they live and are treated behind the scenes. These people are also just desperate people looking for a way to make money, and the way the show chooses to represent these people, whose lives are arguably just as desperate as the players, is to reduce them not to objects, but to mere concepts, something that's even less than an object, simple shapes and simple colors. They follow orders from their faceless boss and work a job with high risk for internal conflicts, injury, and at the worst, they get sent out to their deaths. They don't even have the chance of ever winning any of the prize money. Their shapes can be read as a representation of their degradation, less than objects, and even potentially less than the players, since they don't even hold any sort of monetary value. Speaking of monetary value, staying with the theme of warping reality to haunt us, a place that stands at the complete opposite end of the spectrum is the VIP room, where instead of exploiting our emotions, the VIP room uses seemingly regular objects and even human bodies in a surreal fashion that doesn't evoke any emotions from us. Instead, their designs strip any relatability and humanity from them, to the point that they become pure vanity and decor for the ultra-rich. Nothing here strikes a chord with us, reminding us neither of pleasant memories nor bad ones. It's haunting as well, in a completely different way than the game spaces do. This place feels like both a dream and a nightmare. non-geometric and organic shapes, blended colors, and ornaments fill up the space. Painted bodies frozen in place, used as furnitures and decorations. Just by being in this space, we're transported far from any reminders that the real world outside exists, unlike the game spaces, which are constant reminders of the player's pasts. It reminds me of Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, where in an alternate future, morality and justice are twisted in this nightmarish, unnatural way, and the world's production design reflects just that. Its dreamlike, surreal imageries build off of a familiar world, yet feels so distant and strange to us. Specifically, in the Korova Milk Bar scene, where we see white naked mannequins used for props and furniture, warping the ideas of who we are as humans and what our bodies are made for, giving us this oppressive, weird experience. Through the parallel in visual language, we feel that oppressiveness even stronger when it's contrasted with the barefoot contestants that they watch through a window. The VIPs themselves wear golden animal masks, reminding me of religious figures from ancient Egypt and Hinduism. This could be interpreted as an attempt to deify the VIPs, so as to distance them as far as possible from their human subjects, which makes the contrast more satisfying when one of them gets stripped butt naked to reveal that they are nothing more than flesh and bones and are just as vulnerable as we are. Something interesting is that in the very beginning of the show, Gi-hun watches animals race through a rectangular screen and bets money on them. And now the VIPs are animals watching the humans race through a rectangular window and bets money on them. And then in season 2, it's us, the audience, who are watching the people in the show through our rectangular screens. Now that we've seen all the spaces in the game, let's explore the outside. Let's see how the real world is designed in this show. Far from the vibrant world of the games, for most of them, life has been playing a merciless game on them, much longer than the 5 days of the games. The general look of the real world in this show seems to be much more muted and gray. For our characters, the real world has been their actual playground. Unlike those games, there's no one else to really blame but themselves. Only the hard truth that society doesn't treat them any kinder than the games do. To subconsciously highlight this, there's much more darkness in the real world, pure blacks and shadows shown in the frames with higher contrast versus the soft general lighting that envelops the games. Interior scenes like Sang-woo's hotel, Gi-hun's secret lair, and Gi-hun's old home. Even Ilnam's final deathbed are mostly darkness, which makes the characters themselves stand out, focusing our attentions on them, different from the extravagant world building in the games. Rain is also used as a reoccurring element that separates the clean, smooth visuals of the games with the imperfections of the real world. This rain envelops everything with an icky, inescapable coldness, which mirrors the very real direness of our characters' situations. The darkness of the night leaves little room for our minds to wonder about the rest of the world, keeping us focused on the tragedies at hand. And the brightness of the day does not pull us out of the dark either. No beautiful streaking sunlight, we get humid, hot noon sun shown through restrained, desaturated color grading. Compare these two scenes, the first game and the final game. In the first game, we are entering the unnatural zone, and the filmmakers decided to choose an overly optimistic, bright sunny day with barely any clouds, which almost feels too good to be true. Nowhere else in the show does the sun look like this, and it's not a coincidence. Now contrast that with the final games, which is the last thing that Gi-hun does before returning to reality. As this is the closest transition between the real world and the games, it rains, almost as if it's a reminder that the real world exists outside, and that the real struggle still lies ahead. The world is still not a welcoming place. The rain looms over both of them, both powerless to control the storm that they've been facing all their lives, and the ones that they will face, both powerless back then and will remain powerless in the future. This happens whilst the VIPs spectate from their room, high above, comfortable and unaffected by the elements of reality. Thanks for watching this breakdown of the visual and production design of Squid Game. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Feel free to comment any suggestions for what you'd like to see next. I'm excited to see y'all in the next video. Bye bye.
Oh my god!